It is game day in Broncos country. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Tom Green. The Broncos have just started to play. Unfortunately, they started to play in the fourth quarter. The San Diego, now LA Chargers, started to play earlier in the game. It took a big lead. It's now 23-13. And cornerback Pat Surtain's afternoon ended abruptly. He suffered a concussion on the first defensive series, later ruled out for the full game. Big loss for him. Of course, he had those 2 interceptions last week. Much more coverage on the game now inside of 2 minutes to go. We'll keep you posted on what happens and take you to the locker room to hear from the head coach and the players coming up in just a bit.
On the upside, it's a really nice day to play football. This is a live look at Empower Field. Looks like folks are leaving the game, thinking maybe things not going to end their way, but it was full earlier. They got to enjoy a great day outside. Our weather impact team meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen is joining us now. It feels a little more fall-ish today, but bright sunshine, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the October we all know and love. That's what we had today. At least the weather was nice out there in Denver for the Broncos game. Here's the current temperatures: 70 degrees at DIA, 64 degrees at 9 News Studios here in South Downtown Mile High City. Forecast lows tonight. It's going to be a cold start to your Monday, perhaps some of the cooler temperatures we've seen so far this fall, and that will mean that we have a few frost advisories. They are out here on the eastern plains. A few counties in Colorado will be included in this. The temperature could drop down as low as 34 degrees tonight into tomorrow, but it'll rebound nicely as high pressure rebuilds. We could be sniffing the 80-degree mark once again here on the Front Range, and that does include Denver. Here's the weather impact headlines that we're tracking for you. The warm week ahead, a few warm days coming our way. Elevated wildfire danger will come with that as the breeze starts to kick up ahead of our next cold front, which is coming in, and we may go from summer right to winter right in a flash, and I'll talk about that coming up in the forecast.
All right, Corey, thanks. The Adams County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly shooting that killed a boy and left a man hurt. The Sheriff's Office said it happened just after 11 o'clock last night at Rotella Park in Denver. We are trying to learn more about this, but at this point they're saying the shooting killed a youngster and one man was hurt after being shot in the leg. Still not clear if anyone is in custody for this shooting. Of course, we'll have updates for you as they come in. But if you know anything that could help, you are asked to call police.
Tonight, Aurora police are investigating a shooting that left one person dead. Police say they were called to Kingston Street yesterday near Garrett Park with reports of a man found in a street. When police got there, they realized that man had been shot. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Right now, police say they're not clear if this shooting happened on Kingston Street or somewhere else. They don't have any information about the shooter. The investigation is ongoing.
Tomorrow, the family of Kylan Lewis will hold a rally in Aurora, days after they learned that a police officer who shot and killed him will not face charges. Lewis was unarmed, holding a cell phone in his hand when an Aurora SWAT officer shot him back in May. Aurora and Denver officers confronted Lewis because he was wanted on a warrant for attempted murder. This week, the DA's office found the officer's use of deadly force was justified because he reasonably perceived an imminent threat. Lewis's family released a statement saying they are outraged, calling the decision, quote, a message that the life of an unarmed black man like Kylan means nothing to the very system that is supposed to protect us. Lewis's family says tomorrow's rally will be held before the Aurora City Council meeting.
Also happening tomorrow, Denver Health plans to honor former Denver Mayor Federico Pena for his contributions to the hospital. Denver Health says they'll celebrate Pena with a portrait unveiling at the Family Center that's named after him. Pena also served as Secretary of Transportation during the Clinton administration. The portrait dedication is part of the health system's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. The event is set to start at 10:30 tomorrow morning.
The city of Denver talking about repurposing an old school building with the idea of turning it into short-term migrant shelter. The city is pursuing a lease with DPS to use the Remington site. That's on Pecos Street. That's the elementary school there that closed in 2008. The city has closed all of its short-term sites. It says there's no reason to believe the situation is going to change, but they are preparing for another surge just in case. And Denver Public Schools is hosting its final round of closure and consolidation meetings this week.
Over the last 3 weeks, the district has held community meetings to talk about how declining enrollment could affect schools. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch spoke to some of those parents who are already preparing for the impact. Janelle.
DPS hasn't put out a list of schools to close yet, and already the parents I spoke to today say they're expecting the worst.
Denver Public Schools has some hard decisions to make.
and that's forcing hard conversations for parent Diana Kessel.
So both of my kids are at Palmer Elementary here in the Central District.
She says the district isn't being transparent in its plans to close and consolidate schools.
And that lack of trust causes a lot of anxiety. My kids are like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I don't want to leave my school. I don't want to leave the friends that I've made since kindergarten.
Kessel says if DPS makes its recommendation based solely on enrollment numbers, Parker Elementary may be on the chopping block.
We might be small, but we're very mighty and successful.
I've been a DPS parent since 2019 when my daughter started kindergarten.
Erin Engstrom's daughter also goes to Palmer. She values smaller class sizes, but worries DPS doesn't.
I'm frank with her about the fact that this is a real possibility, and it makes her emotional. She cries, and I get upset too, because really in a neighborhood like Hale, Palmer is the heart of the community, and when you lose that, you're going to be losing this amazing sense of neighborhood, this gathering spot for everybody, and it would be a huge loss.
She says leaders should consider redrawing boundary lines to make more even classes across the district.
That seems to me a logical step before we take the drastic action of closing schools. What parent doesn't want smaller class sizes? Having a class size of 20 kids is really a luxury, and I think there's this perception that you need to send your kids to private school in order to have that, but there are amazing schools right within DPS that have that.
There isn't much time to consider alternative solutions. Superintendent Dr. Alex Marrero is expected to present a list of schools to close and consolidate on November 7th. A DPS spokesperson says the initial plan was to develop a list over the summer and present it this month before it was delayed to next month. Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. The Pentagon has announced the U.S. will send an air defense battery and American troops to Israel to up their defense against Iran. The announcement comes after Iran warned Washington to keep its military forces out of Israel. A Pentagon spokesperson says the Defense Department got that order from President Joe Biden. That same spokesperson also said the deployment will help Israel's air defenses following Iran's missile attacks in both April and this month. This all comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans to hold a cabinet meeting today.
He says the plan is to weigh the country's response to Iran's October 1st missile attack. A quarter of Lebanese territory is currently under evacuation orders amid Israeli airstrikes, as well as a ground incursion. The country's prime minister made another push for a ceasefire on Saturday after dozens of countries condemned the reports of attacks by Israeli forces on UN peacekeepers. Israel has also intensified military operations in Gaza, issuing evacuation orders and blocking supplies to some areas.